watts of power, excuse me, that only gives you a plus 1 dB in your signal. Or if you go from 100 watts to 1,000 watts, well, that only gives you plus 1 dB in your signal. And I scream bullcrap. And I know people are going to like hate me and debate with me, and that's totally cool. Truthfully, I don't even care. I don't want to hear it. But you can't tell me if you're talking to me at 100 watts and you're far enough away, and you say, you know, I'm having a hard time hearing you, and I kick it to 1,000 watts, if you try to tell me that my signal on your S meter jumps one little unit, then I say BS.
Okay, very good. Anybody want to agree or disagree? Why? Why is this what you're saying wholeheartedly?
Okay, I'm sorry, you guys had a massive double. Jim, go. The second guy, go ahead.
Actually, I am in control, so I'll toss it back to me. Who was the other party? Was that Hart or the other guy?
It was KI6BWO.
Sim, go ahead, Sim.
Yeah, I'm sorry I doubled with you. I wholeheartedly agree with the gentleman because, 3 dB, that's double power. That's double right there. So 100 to 200 is 3 dB. 100 to 1,000, that's much more. So I kind of agree with his logic.
Comment.
Go ahead, comment with your call sign first.
Dan86DL. I think what John is kind of alluding to is, the difference between 10 and 100 watts or 100 watts to 1,000 watts. 1,000 watts is 10 dB, right? So, you're multiplying your power by 10, so you got 10 more dB. But the S meter, the S meter, it jumps up more than just two S units, because they say an S unit's roughly takes about 5 or 6 dB per S unit. So you're expecting, if I got an S5, it should only go to an S7, because that's about 10 dB. But we always see it go, if somebody's signal's S5 and they go from 100 to 1,000, they go to 10 over 9, or they go 20 over 9. And it's because the fact is the S meter's not really very linear, for one. But the other thing is, like what John's saying, is that if you're near the noise floor, then it's a huge difference, because you're now 10 dB over what was the noise floor.
Absolutely correct. The S meter is not linear, it is not accurate, and it does not represent what the 6 dB. Most radios that have been tested, it's 5, 4, sometimes 2. When you get down, the lower the S unit, the more off it can be. The dB range above S9 is usually fairly accurate, but when you start dropping down to S5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, it gets real froggy. So if you got a noise level of S4 and if somebody's coming in at S5 and they turn on an amplifier, you're going to see a whole different ballgame than if you're than what the math would represent if it were truly a 6 dB difference, which it is not.
Can I add to it?
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to add to it even further. See, there's another thing called the inverse square law. When you quadruple your power, you double your distance. And quadrupling your power is 6 dB. So, if the signal was already 30 over S9, if you quadrupled your power, from 100 watts to 400 watts, it wouldn't even go up to, 10 more dB. It'd only go up 6 dB. But here's the thing. If you quadruple your power and your signal was, say, like S1 or real in the noise floor, you actually could potentially double your effective distance you could transmit. Instead of, let's say, 50 miles to 100 miles, because of you've now quadrupled your power. And that's where it really shines. It makes more a difference when the signal's weak than if you've already got a signal, 50 over 9, who cares? That's just another interesting fact, is when you run a lot of power, you really You know, why would an AM radio station like KFI run 50,000 watts when if 25,000 watts is only 3 dB, they could save a lot of money, right? But the 3 dB means a 40% increase in the distance and coverage.
Well said.
Excellent. Now, here's the bugaboo. I'm going to throw a monkey wrench at you guys. The ham radio rules say, and by the way, we are a ham radio service. As such, we get into the emergency and all that other stuff, and I tend to go that direction myself. So when an emergency happens, all bets are off. Use maximum power, maximum everything to make it work. But in normal circumstances, the rule is to use the least amount of output to get the job done. Okay, so you get comments on that and how that works? I always hear QRO or QRP is not in my dictionary and stuff like that, comments about that. So let's go down that road.
Okay, quick comment, KS6PHX.
Go ahead, John.
I think that most of the guys, I think a lot of us, we try to do that to an extent. For example, like if Hart and I are talking, or if Dan86 and DL and I are talking, he's out there in Westminster. If I can hit him on 25, 50 watts, we'll leave it at that, and I'll let the antenna, I'll let the beam do the rest of the work. With Hart, shoot, we'll go down 5 watts. That's it. Hell, right now, I'm running, let's see what, 9 watts. Okay, 10 watts. I'm running 10 watts to get into the repeater. Because might as well conserve and save your radio, right? I mean, if you're always just sitting there hammering down on your radio and you don't need to, then you're just going to make it run out, going to make it blow out faster. So, I agree with you. Good rule, good deal.
And does everybody understand and accept that?